I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today I'm trying a new segment where I come on and discuss everything going on in FKN land, as well as some of the interesting happenings that are happening. How is everyone today? I am not used to coming on here and just talking like some of y'all can, but this is going to be good for me to step out of my old comfort zone and see where I can go. So first, some super amazing, incredible news. If you don't already know, my second film, the forbidden documentary, Doors of Perception, is available now to rent or purchase right from our website. This is going to be a special pre-release version of the film. You can rent it for only $2.99 or buy it for $7. You can also get a 4K version for $12. I guarantee the information presented in this film is worth much more than $3. I feature some of your favorite authors, researchers, experiencers, and broadcasters. Shout out to my cast and crew. First, my lovely wife, Jennifer. She did some of the filming and helped with editing and proofing. Daniel Rekshan, who was our dream expert and chief dream officer at Dreamwell. Our friend Brandon Thomas, host of Expanding Reality podcast. He actually chimes in on a few topics throughout the film. Vicki Joy Anderson, author of They Only Come Out at Night. She discusses sleep paralysis. I also give my personal sleep paralysis story. We got Carlos Tanner, founder of the Ayahuasca Foundation. Adam Butler, author of Butler's DMT Field Guide. They obviously discuss psychedelics. I also chime in a bit for that segment. Karen Wilkinson, author of Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest. She discusses her abduction experiences. Trey Hudson, former U.S. Army intelligence officer and paranormal researcher. He discusses the profound crossover of paranormal phenomena. Ryan Burns, researcher, author, owner of Space Wolf Research. He talks about the experiences on Skinwalker Land. Alberto Gamiochipi, he is a member of the Ute tribe and resident near the ranch. He discusses Skinwalker lore a bit, as well as some of the paranormal happenings in the area. Jim Willis, who I decided to dedicate the film to, he passed away last year, an amazing man, former minister, researcher, author. He discusses near-death experiences and the afterlife. Lindsay Sharman, healer, author, researcher, host of Rogue Ways, also discusses near-death experiences, the afterlife, and synchronicities. And finally, Dan Liss. He is a spiritual healer and medium. He also discusses near-death experiences, afterlife, and synchronicities. And, of course, the amazing Johnny Larson did the beautiful artwork for the film. Thank you so much, Johnny. Go check out his work. I'll have his link in the description as well. I am very happy with everything, and I believe that I weave together these topics in a very entertaining, coherent, and informative manner. So please go check it out. Just visit our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, or use the link right in the description. We are aiming for June for the film to hit the big streaming platforms. While we're discussing films, this is something we do now. We produce films for streaming platforms. If you're a filmmaker or content creator looking to produce a film, look no further than FKN Productions. we would provide you the opportunity for your film to be submitted to all the big streaming platforms through FKN Productions. If you'd like to learn more about that, email me, forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. We will soon be adding more information about that to our website. Before we get away from movie territory, we are working on another project at the same time as the sequel to Doors of Perception, A Warning from History. This will be directed and co-produced by Cory Hughes. The film will cover Cory's research into the JFK assassination, which continues to be vindicated by the released files as well as correlating research. So we may have that done within a few months. We'll keep you updated on that. Very excited about that as well. Okay, so let's get to some interesting happenings going on. By the way, there will never be low-vibe, doom and gloom news during this segment. Only positive, uplifting news and events. First, of course, the big news from Egypt. If you haven't already heard, a groundbreaking discovery beneath the Egyptian pyramids has taken the world by storm. Researchers from Italy and Scotland claim to have uncovered a vast underground city, which stretches more than 6,500 feet directly underneath the pyramids of Giza, making them 10 times larger than the pyramids themselves. So, the claim, the bombshell claim, which already many quote-unquote experts have debunked, like good old Snopes, the claim comes from a study that used radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep in the ground beneath the structures, the same way sonar radar is used to map the depths of the ocean. Now, the paper, which has not been peer-reviewed by independent, quote-unquote, experts, it found 8 vertical cylinder-shaped structures extending more than 2,100 feet below the pyramid and more unknown structures 4,000 feet deeper. A press release describes the findings as groundbreaking and, if true, could rewrite the history of ancient Egypt. However, independent experts have raised serious concerns about the study. Here we go with the experts. Let's see what the experts have to say. Professor Lawrence Connors, a radar expert at the University of Denver who focuses on archaeology, believes that it is not possible for the technology to penetrate that deeply into the ground, making the idea of an underground city a huge exaggeration. Professor Connors says it is conceivable there are small structures, such as shafts and chambers beneath the pyramid, that existed before they were built because the site was, quote, special to ancient people. He highlighted how the Mayans and other people in ancient Mesoamerica often built pyramids on top of the entrances of caves or caverns that had ceremonial meaning to them. The work by Corrado Malanga from Italy's University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi with the University of Strathclyde in Scotland has only been released during an in-person briefing in Italy this week and is yet to be published in a scientific journal where it would need to be analyzed by independent experts. Now, Malanga and Biondi are apparently responsible for these new findings. They published a separate peer-reviewed paper in October of 2022 in the scientific journal Remote Sensing, which found hidden rooms and ramps inside the pyramid along with evidence of a thermal anomaly near the pyramid's base. Now, Malanga is a ufologist. He has appeared on YouTube shows about aliens where he has discussed his more than decade-long career of studying UFO sightings in Italy. Biondi, on the other hand, specializes in radar technology. Professor Connors says they are using all kinds of fancy proprietary data analysis software. Now, the team now claim they discovered 8-cylinder structures which travel more than 2,100 feet below the pyramid's base. They identified spiral structures on the side of the shafts, and the team also found a hidden chamber in the pyramid that contained 5 identical structures with sloped roofs and 5 levels. The new radar techniques that were used work by combining satellite radar with tiny vibrations from naturally occurring seismic movements to construct 3D images of what lies beneath the surface of the Earth without doing any physical digging. Nicole Sicolo, the project spokesperson, said, "A vast underground city has been discovered beneath the pyramids. The groundbreaking study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration." The team explained the system as other chamber-like structures interconnecting under all 3 pyramids. The existence of vast chambers beneath the surface comparable to the size of the pyramids themselves, which have a remarkably strong correlation between the legendary Halls of Amenti, Sicolo said. These new archaeological findings could redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown and unexplored subterranean structures. Well, this is incredible. If these radar images are real and we're not being fed another line of BS to keep us distracted from more important things happening, which there's probably a level of that anyway in this, but it is very fascinating. So this is super interesting times. I'm really looking forward to what comes out of this. I'm hoping that we can maybe get down there and do some excavations. Who knows? But we will keep an eye on all of this and see how the story develops. Again, this may not even be what we think it is. It could be some sort of deception. It could be bad information, could have flawed equipment. Who knows? But we'll keep an eye on it. Very interesting. Now I want to talk for a minute about UFOs. First of all, I believe we will always learn more about this phenomena from those who have experienced it. For me, this can be everything from UFOs, abductions, cryptids, ghosts. I personally believe that there is profound crossover between phenomena that cannot be ignored, as well as infiltration and weaponization of this phenomena. But I am putting a call out there to those of you that have had close encounters. I want to hear your story, your experiences. These experiences, to me, are the best way, in my opinion, that we could truly learn about this phenomena. So, if you would like to share your story with our audience, please email me, forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous. We will even distort your voice and not show your picture if that's what you want. So let's come together with our puzzle pieces and see what we can do. Speaking of UFOs and psychological operations, UFO whistleblower David Grush has been hired as a senior advisor for Representative Eric Burleson of Missouri, I believe. The representative told News Nation exclusively Grush's role will mostly involve advising on issues related to unexplained anomalous phenomena. I thought it was unexplained aerial phenomena. They're changing it again. All right. More commonly known as UFOs, and he will be hired for a 4-month period initially. In his role, he will not work directly with the House Oversight Committee. After a request for him to be hired as committee staff, the committee rejected the proposal because of Grush's high profile in the press and on social media. He will only advise Burleson, who is a member of both the UAP Task Force and the committee. And the House Ethics Committee approved the hiring. Does anyone out there trust this guy, Lou Elizondo, or really not to mention any of the new mainstream alternative media talking heads out there? I don't know. It seems like a trap to me. But exactly where it's all going with disclosure, I don't know, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Shoot me an email. I also have one more call out for potential guests on the show. I am looking for people that have experienced extreme matrix glitches, time slips, alternate realities, timeline jumps, frozen airplanes, those impossible events and occurrences that really make you rethink reality in your own existence. So email me if you've had anything like that, forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com, as well as close encounter experiences, UFOs, aliens, ghosts, spirits, angels, demons, anything that fits into that sort of paranormal stew. Email me, forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com, and we'll talk. Like I said, it's about those puzzle pieces that each of us have. The only way we're going to solve this thing is if we come together, put those pieces together, and see what we get when we step away and look at the puzzle as a whole. All right, guys, thank you all for listening or watching, and we will be back later today with another episode of Forbidden Knowledge News. Have a wonderful evening. The nature of this experience seems to always be just beyond the reach of our science, technology, and consciousness collective.
There's layers upon layers upon layers.
It does add such an element of mystery to this place.
Why are we here?
We're getting closer to the truth now.
There's too many people experiencing profound interactions with conscious entities.
I'm focused on the non-human intelligence contact phenomenon in dreams. Dreams involve interactions with real entities.
People are waking up paralyzed. They're sensing or seeing something very evil in the room.
I have experienced sleep paralysis. Shadow people start to appear.
I was taken from my earliest memories by non-human alien entities. More and more people are wanting to talk about these things.
A ufologist would say, well, that's obviously an extraterrestrial. And a paranormal researcher would say, well, that's a ghost. Well, what if it's all of those things and none of those things? The entities, the intelligence that were just beyond our understanding.
There seems to be something a little extra that can take forms of anything.
I can't believe what I've seen, but it continues on a daily basis. We're definitely not alone. UFOs, UAPs, portals opening up.
I live with all this supernatural stuff. You kind of grow up with that around here. You see a lot of strange things. I don't like to talk about skinwalkers too much.
I had an experience with a skinwalker entity.
People, they would say they would transform into bears, into wolves. There's these bad things that occur. Ghosts, UFOs, and all types of things coming from somewhere.
Our beliefs, our emotions, and our fears all seem to heavily influence the nature of these experiences.
There is so much more that we just don't have time for in this busy, loud, noisy life that we lead.
All of this is planned. Everything is synchronicity.
There's so much more out there. We really are picking up such a small percentage of the electromagnetic spectrum.
The world is an amazing place.
It feels like we're gods in training.